So for us to start our basic skirt pattern, you need a long ruler, tape measure, your scissors, paper scissors to be precise, your pencils, sharpener, eraser, your short ruler, and a curve. So the first thing you do is you use your transparent ruler, which is equal to 3 centimeters, and you leave the space for your zip allowance. Your zip allowance is going to be on this side of the paper, so we'll rule our 3 centimeters. You rule it all the way down. Let me so you label your 3 centimeter zip allowance. Also, you rule a 3 centimeter line here as well, just to give us a line to start with. So when you're done with that, usually the distance between the hip to the upper hip level is 10 centimeters. That is standard. So we have, draw your line 10 centimeters below the waistline. So 10 centimeters below the waistline is here. This is where the long ruler comes in. So you join this line. Okay. The distance between the upper hip level to the lower hip level is also 10 centimeters. So you also draw a 10 centimeter line from here down here. And remember, the hip measurement is always measured on the lower hip level. So join this. I need a bigger table. Lower hip level. So now that we've gotten all the points, the lines that we need, remember the needed measurements is your waist measurements. Your waist measurements, we're going to be using a waist measurement of 32. Here I'm using my own measurement. Your hip, which is 40. Your skirt length, we're going to be using 28 so that this paper can accommodate it. Then your nipple to get your dart. So for your calculated waist is equal to your waist multiplied by 2.5. Remember, I'm multiplying by 2.5 to convert it to centimeter, plus 2. This is ease. That's to add your skirt ease, divided by 4 plus 3. This 3 here is for the darts. Then we'll come up with, it comes down to 23.5 centimeter. Also, your calculated hip is your hip multiplied by 2.5. That's converting into centimeter, plus 2 divided by 4. That's 100 plus 2 divided by 4. It comes up to 25.5 centimeter. Then to get your dart, your dart is your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, which is 3.75. Then to convert it to centimeter, you multiply by 2.5. Then you get your 9.4 centimeters. We'll go ahead to mark our waist measurement. Waist measurement is 23.5 centimeter. So you get your 23.5 centimeter here. 23.5 centimeter, which is here. Then your hip measurement is measured on the lower hip level. And now my calculated hip is 25.5 centimeter. So I go ahead to get my 25.5 centimeter. 25.5 centimeter, which is here. So after getting this, you join your waist to your hip. Remember, our hip is not straight, it's curved. So if you have a curve, you can always use this to curve it. But this my curve is too curvy. Then we'll go ahead to get our skirt length. Our skirt length is 28 inches. So 28 inches from the waist here. So we go ahead to mark that as well. 28 inches is our skirt length. Okay, I want a 1 inch seam allowance, so I can go ahead and add my 1 inch sewing allowance, which will make it 29. Let's go ahead and still move that. Get 29. So we join this as well. So for our basic skirt, we'll go ahead to also use the same measurements we got for our hip down here as well, which is 25.5 centimeter. 25.5 centimeter. So that is here. So we draw a straight line from our hip to our skirt length. So here we've gone ahead to get our waist measurements, our hip measurements, and our skirt length. Then depending on what you want to use as your sewing allowance, I'm going to be using a 3 centimeter sewing allowance, and my 3 centimeter is equal to this ruler. So but since I have a curved line here, I can go ahead and use my tape to get my 3 centimeter. Then go ahead to continue with our ruler, which is also 3 centimeters. This is for a basic skirt pattern. Okay, for this skirt, this is if you want to use facing at the waistline for this particular skirt. But if you do not want to use facing and you want to use a band, you might not facing. I'll show that later. A facing, you go ahead. Let's say our skirt length is 28, so our skirt length is 28. So you might not, if you want your band to be 2 inches, you might not 2 from 28 to give you the band width. So when you get the band width, I'll show that later on. Let's go ahead to complete this. So this is for a basic skirt. To get an A-line skirt from a basic skirt pattern, all you need to do is to shoot out. Depending on how flare you want it to be, you can decide to shoot out, let's use for example 2 inches. But this also depends on the hip measurement of the client. If the client is hippie, has a big hip, you can decide to shoot out like 3 inches to get your basic skirts, to get your A-line skirts. So if we shoot out 3 inches from here, the measurements will be here. So you can go ahead to join this from the hip all the way down. I hope this is not getting confusing. So as you can see here, it gives you the A-line skirts from here. So from here you can now go ahead to add your sewing allowance. You can go ahead to add your sewing allowance here. Then for a pencil skirt, you shoot out for A-line, shoot out 3 inches to get A-line. Then for your pencil skirts, you shoot in, for example, for myself, I usually shoot in 2 inches. So if you shoot in 2 inches from here, you get 2 inches here. But we can decide to shoot in 3 inches so that it's to be more pronounced. So if you shoot in 3 inches, let's just use 3 inches all through. So you can see, if you shoot in 3 inches for pencil. So for pencil skirts, we shoot in 3 inches. So from here we can go ahead to add our sewing allowance. So we'll leave these ones for now and work with the pencil skirts. Just so it's not confusing. So we can leave that for now and work with the pencil skirts. So you can decide to add back your your 3 centimeter sewing allowance. Okay, so for the front skirts, you always cut on fold. Remember, the front does not have any joining, doesn't have any join. So whenever you want to cut the front skirt, you fold this and you cut on fold. But for the back piece, you cut this way. Normally I just use one side to cut the other, but if you do not want it to get confusing for you, you can always draw the back separate and the front separate. So for the front, you can decide to start from here where you do not have any 3 cm zip allowance installed. So for the back, you can decide to do it here and have your 3 cm zip allowance installed at that other side. But usually it's always easy this way. So when you do it once, you just fold and cut the front, and then you release and cut for your back. So for us to cut this, just okay. So for us to cut this, don't worry, we'll still install the darts just to make the paper more easy to manage on this table, as my table is very small. Okay, so we have our pencil skirts. So to install our darts, here I have my darts to be 9.4 centimeter, and remember we added 3 centimeter to get our darts in our waistline. So what I'll do here, 9.4 centimeter, you measure your 9.4 centimeter on your waistline, 9.4 centimeter, which is here. So you mark your 9.4 centimeter here. So once you get your 9.4 centimeter, to take out the 3 centimeter we added, you measure 0.5 each side. This is your 0.5, and this is your 0.5 this way. So here as well, on the upper hip level, you also get your 9.4 centimeter here, so as to get a straight line. So you rule the straight line all the way down here. So here we have 0.5, 1.5, join all the way down, and here as well. You join here as well. So this is our dart measurements. So for us to add our facing, remember we will need a sewing allowance here as well. So what I usually do is I'll add 1 centimeter here. So I have 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter, 1 centimeter. So I have my 1 centimeter here. Yes? Oh. Okay, so you go ahead, just take this up. Remember, just really straight line up. You can go ahead to trim that off. always remember to notch your darts. So when you're cutting on the material, always remember to notch every point that needs to join. This is our hip. You notch your hip a little, so that way when you're joining, it makes things easier. So this is our basic skirt pattern. So here you cut 2 pieces for each. So if you have any questions, please, let's treat the questions before we go further. Okay, thank you guys.